So we're going to talk about these ideas of moach and leiv, the rosh, the head and the heart. The two different parts of the body which Chazal tell us lead, govern, and I'd like to, after discussing a little bit about the theory of it, some of the ideas behind it, bring it down to some level of lemaisa that we ourselves can take something away from this and apply it to our own avodas Hashem. Hashem wants you to serve Him. If you're a nobody, you can't serve Hashem. In order to be able to serve Hashem, you have to be a somebody. You have to make yourself into something, into somebody who can serve Hashem. But if you don't think of yourself as being capable, if you don't grow, if you don't become someone who is capable, so then how could you be Oved Hashem? And it's very, very important for everybody to work on becoming that kind of person who is worthy of serving Hashem. Because Hashem wants us to serve Him. But the service of a somebody is certainly much more chashuv, is certainly much more worthy than the service of a nobody. So we must try to become somebodies. We must try to become people with developed ideas, personalities, with developed skills and abilities, so that we can take all of those things and turn them to the service of Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu dafka looks for the broken kli. As it says, Korov Hashem l'nishberei leiv. Hashem is close to those whose heart is broken within them, who feel a sense of lowliness, who feel a sense of the lack of the shleimus, the lack of being what they're supposed to be, who when they look to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they say, I'm so far from where I am, and it breaks me up. I'm broken by the fact when I think about who I am and what I've accomplished. And it says, that kind of heart, that's really the kind of heart that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. These are two different models of growth of a human being. There's a model of growth of a human being. Of the first way is to grow and to become shleimus and perfect oneself, to develop oneself, to become a somebody. And then there's another model of avodas Hashem, which says that dafka, the more we feel that we are really nobodies, the more that we feel that we really haven't accomplished, the more broken-hearted we are because we feel that there is such a gap between the ideal of what we know we should be and what the actual reality is. So that itself creates a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if that's how you feel, so then I will pick up the broken pieces, and those are the broken pieces that I'm going to use in order to demonstrate my greatness, in order to bring blessing into the world, to make the world into the place that it should be. The Sforim characterize the first way is moach, using your mind. The mind is the part that sets a person aside. The mind is the part that a person uses in order to create new realities, to change himself, to become more shalem. The leiv is soft. It receives impressions. The Navi talks about turning the leiv even into a leiv basar, a heart of flesh. A heart of flesh is something soft. A heart is something which receives impression. The mind, the brain, thinks, affects others. The heart is what's affected. The heart is what receives. The heart is what's mekabel, what receives impressions, and is affected. And the heart can become excited. The heart can, because it's affected by what's outside of it, it becomes excited, it becomes involved. The brain is colder, dispassionate. But those are two different ways of constructing a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does it mean for us to approach our avodas Hashem with our hearts and with our minds? And to understand that both of these parts of us need to be focused on serving Hashem. Our minds, which affect, which define, which lead, and our hearts, which receive impressions, which are led and affected. We have to make yourself into a somebody to stand before Hashem. But it's no contradiction that that somebody who has to stand before Hashem should have the sense that whatever somebody I am is completely a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's completely dependent upon Him. And I couldn't make myself into a somebody. I couldn't create that person who can stand in front of Hashem and speak to Him and ask for things. That can't happen unless Hashem is supporting me, unless Hashem is giving me the ability to create that. And the person who doesn't exercise his mind is not going to understand. And the person has to develop his mind. And the person has to know how to learn and how to think and how to approach sources, and has to develop his skills and his talents, and has to understand that, use his mind, his intellect, to be able to understand Torah. The ultimate geula will come from the unification of the forces, when there will not be a conflict between the moach and the leiv. But the greatest moach and the greatest leiv, like Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, Zichrono Livracha, the most developed genius in the world, and the most developed heart that we could possibly imagine, when they come together. And that's our avoda, that within each and every one of us, we have a leiv and we have a moach.